Hello and welcome to Car Dealer Live. I'm James Batchelor and today we are talking to Manheim Auction Services about the auction sector and how the company is evolving. Joining me is the firm's Managing Director, Wholesale Europe, Liam Quegan. Hello, Liam.
Hi, James. Good to see you again. Really privileged to be with you again.
Wow, it's our pleasure to have you on. Always good to have you on Car Dealer Live. Now, I know you are a familiar face to our viewers, and indeed Manheim Auction Services is as well. But for perhaps some of those new viewers, they may be not particularly aware of what you guys do. Could you just give us like an overview of the business and how it looks today?
Yeah, of course. I mean, Mannheim Auction Services is part of a bigger organisation called Cox Automotive, which is a global vehicle services business headquartered in the US. Within the UK, most of your viewers and our clients will know us predominantly as Mannheim, and Mannheim is our auction business amongst other elements of what we do. What we have is a number of sites nationally across the UK, providing customers to the ability to either vend their vehicles through our business or for many thousands of customers the opportunity to buy vehicles, used vehicles from different marques and different ages, and that's what we're trying to do. So we're trying to provide our customers with the ability to source vehicles that they need to go and make profit down the line for themselves.
And you've got the heritage as well, haven't you? 100 years old.
101 now, so we're
101.
100, yeah, 100 in 2022, which we're very proud of. So yeah, no, it's we've been doing this a while, but we've not always been just selling cars. We used to sell horses and other things way back in the day, but now we concentrate on commercial vehicles and cars, and I think we do a pretty good job of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, back in I think it was September last year, you did launch a new hybrid sales program.
Uh-huh.
Having been, running like everybody, running an online only program since lockdown.
Mm.
What prompted the change to a hybrid model?
Well, we actually started earlier than last September to return to what we might call physical auctions, so in-lane selling. Obviously, as we went through the COVID epidemic and challenges, we moved to an entirely online model for safety and for the right reasons. But we wanted and recognised the fact that we wanted to give our customers choice in the way that they wanted to work with us. So we started to dip our toe in the water actually towards the end of 2021 in terms of beginning to return to some form of physical auctioning. And that went really well. And we initially started thinking, look, this is really just for older vehicles where customers might want to buy them but wanted to have a chance to walk around the car and listen to it and so on. But actually, as we spent a bit more time testing and learning, we began to understand that this service was really valued from quite a wide cross-section of our customers. So as we move forward through the pandemic and as it started to become, thankfully, we've started to see the level of risk rescind. And we thought, you know what was most important for us was to give this choice to our customers. So as you say, in August, September last year, we moved to a position where we reverted to pretty much all of our sales in the UK offering this mixture of both online capability, but also the ability for customers to come and see the cars and buy them in the lane. And I have to say, I think it's gone really, really well. We're seeing a real, in a lot of ways, return to some of what we saw pre-pandemic in terms of the energy in these auction lanes. But we've also seen, and it has to be said, we still see the majority of our vehicles being bought online, which was very different to pre-pandemic levels as well. So it's been a learning process, and what we've really wanted to do is provide choice for our customers, and I think that's what we're doing now.
Yeah, I think it's been a learning process for everybody, really, hasn't it? Coming out of the pandemic and learning new ways of trading and performing strongly in businesses. Uh, it does strike me though. I mean, why didn't you reopen your auction halls immediately once the restrictions eased? I mean, some of your competitors did, and I do remember it being a bit of a source of debate in the trade at the time. Who's opening completely and who isn't?
Yeah, I think there was a number of reasons why we didn't go back. I mean, I think if you cast your mind back to 2021, there was still a huge amount of uncertainty around how the pandemic was evolving. It was a very serious, public health issue, and kind of keeping people safe was our primary kind of responsibility. So we were very careful about how we returned to opening the sites, if you will. So the first port of call was always safety. And as that risk started to rescind, we looked at, different ways of operating. But we also, frankly, thought, there had been quite a big sea shift towards buying online as well. And we saw that, for a whole year, 100% of all the vehicles we sold were sold online. However, we wanted to understand whether that meant something different for our customers and whether customers did want that choice. So we were just sequential in the way we went about it. And I think, if I'm honest, I don't think we got it wrong. I think we just were ordered in the way and that we went back to it. And I think the proof of the pudding is in the eating. Now we have vibrant, physical sales happening across the country, but we still have lots of online purchasing happening as well. So I think we got the balance roughly right. I think it's easy to say with hindsight we could have gone quicker, but in reality, I think we wanted to do the right thing, whether it was through public health and also for our own customers in that way.
How have the physical sales performed since the hybrid program started? I mean, are you seeing the numbers in your halls that you'd anticipated, and what impact has this had on your digital sales?
Sorry, James.
Yeah, carry on.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's been initially, frankly, it took a bit of time to get going. I think people were a little bit kind of wary to come back into the halls. And this is kind of 2021 and then a little bit later into 2022. However, I think where we find ourselves now is there's a lot more energy back. We see very vibrant sales. Colchester on a Thursday night, which was traditionally one of our biggest sales in the country. Now we're regularly seeing over 150 buyers in the hall. Across Leeds or Bristol or Northampton, Washington, the various sites we have around the country, we're seeing regularly a large number of buyers. However, it's not the same number as we saw before the pandemic. In some cases it is. Colchester on a Thursday night probably pretty much is back to where it was, but in others less so. But we still see that appetite for physical attendance. As I said at the start of the webinar, in reality, we used to sell about a quarter of our vehicles online prior to the pandemic. We now sell just over half. So it hasn't returned to what it was before, but what we've allowed our customers to do is choose. And this mix is now, we're actually in a fairly happy medium, really. I think we're really happy with the fact we're offering that service and people are coming, and you can see it when the auctioneers who are the show, if I may say, the show people of our business, they love it. They love the energy and they're there to drive it. And you can see it in the lane, but also they're getting good response from online as well. So it took a little bit of time to get going. Now I think we're back up to where we want to be, but I don't think we'll return to 75% of vehicles being sold in the lane. I think that ship has sailed.
What about stock performance, though? I mean, like you were saying, there's, things have returned to a bit of a buzz. People crave the buzz in the lanes, don't they? I mean, has that had an impact on stock performance, having buyers actually in the hall?
It definitely has. I mean, we've seen a couple of dynamics happen. I mean, there is a strange general dynamic at the moment, which is the supply and demand challenge that the industry faces. Now that clouds a lot of things. So vehicle prices are higher than they were pre-pandemic, and we know that people have to pay more for these used vehicles than they would have done historically. So that dynamic continues. I think the second thing, though, that we've seen at a kind of, which you can separate out from what's just generally happened from supply and demand, is we've seen things happen like, for example, if a physical buyer may bid on a vehicle in lane, you'll sometimes see that as a catalyst for online activity as well, presumably because the online buyer recognizes that the physical buyer has gone round that vehicle and gone, do you know what, I'm in for that. And therefore the online buyer goes, actually, I've got a bit of faith in that as well, therefore. So sometimes the just having physical people in the lane drives activity from online. I think we've also seen more desire from physical buyers to buy some of the vehicles that, historically online buyers might have left. So some of the ones that need a bit more work, where the engine noise is a little bit, kind of apparent, or there's something on the inspection report that means, it really benefits for you to see the actual level of damage or something mechanical on that particular vehicle. We've seen a few people take a few more risks, actually. And so I think in general, it's been a bit of a virtuous circle of more vehicles being purchased, but also probably a little bit of a driver in terms of performance as well. But, we've got to remember there is a backdrop of supply and demand is I don't think we've ever been in this position before, certainly not within my memory. So that also has a huge impact on how performance is playing out.
That's some really interesting point then. I know you alluded to it earlier on about you can't really see it going back to 75% through the lanes and more of a 50-50. But I mean, what's the future of auctions in your view? I mean, is physical here to stay for the long term?
My personal view is physical retains its need within the various ecosystems that we operate in. However, I do think that online it will be the most relevant channel which will operate in over a long time. So I would imagine over time we'll see a shift towards more and more online, but there's certain things that have to happen for that to be the case. I think we have to improve our online experience. So we have to improve what imagery looks like, improve the caliber of some elements of our inspection reporting so that those online, it's all about building trust and building credibility. I think we already do a good job of that, but we need to do better. And I think that should always be the case for any digital business. So we've got work to do. We need to get better at certain things, like we don't have underbody imagery at the moment and so on, which we'd like to think about, and so on and so forth. So there's my kind of short answer is, I do think online is probably going to be the predominant channel going forward, but I think it's our responsibility, and frankly, other people who operate in our industry's responsibility, to make sure that that online experience is as positive, credible, trustworthy as possible. And I still think there will be a place for physical. I don't know exactly what. I wouldn't like to draw a time frame or anything like that, but I still think I can see it from our customers, their ability to choose choice and to choose Mannheim and to come in and see a vehicle that they might be interested in. For some, that's invaluable. And, I think it'll be a mix. But I think we have to get better at the digital experience.
Yeah, it does sound like it's the auction side is sort of in step with the retail side, isn't it? The consumer still likes to go and see the car, but also have a bit of some digital interaction as well. So that's quite an interesting viewpoint there, Liam. Finally, I mean, what does make Mannheim different? I mean, there are plenty of competitors out in the marketplace, but what makes you guys just stand head and shoulders above the others?
I think our biggest thing is two things really. Firstly, we're a national operator that operates with physical and online capabilities, so you can buy our vehicles across the country. We've got 10 auction sites that operate throughout the UK, and that means that our buyers, our customers, are able to source vehicles relatively close to where they are based as well. So if you want to come and see us and bid, you don't have to travel so far. And so I think that's the first thing. Second thing, I think we've got a great choice of vehicles across that national footing. But the thing that I'm really proud of more than anything else is I think the Mannheim way is just fantastic. I think we've got great people. We try and offer brilliant customer service. We try and do the right things. And, we went back to physicals because we thought that was the best thing for our customers, and we stand behind it. And, likewise, I think we need to keep pushing on a better online experience. But, I think for us, it's about service, it's about our national footprint, and I think it's about choice of vehicles.
Well, tremendous, Liam. I mean, some really interesting stuff there about the future of auctions. I know plenty of our viewers it's a question that's on their minds about what's going to be happening next. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks, James. Appreciate it.
Well, that's it for today's Car Dealer Live. Join us again very soon. Bye-bye.